Rob, is Harden making a case as the best player in the NBA?
He is, and I know a lot of people cringe when they hear that because it's hard to wrap your hands around it. And I get LeBron and what he's done in his whole career, but we're just talking about right now, the defending MVP in the league. He put up unbelievable numbers a year ago, and this year he's risen his level again. When you start talking about he's done something that only Jordan and Kobe have done in the last 30 years, and you're talking about over 400 points total in a 10-game span, that's nothing to poo-poo. That's telling you you're playing at some sort of level. Also, Chris Paul is out. They're rolling. They've won 10 of their last 11. Chris Paul's missed the last 5 games. They're 5-0. So he's not putting up just meaningless numbers that don't matter. In those 5 games that they've won, 4 of those 5 are all teams over 500. So he's not like scoring a lot of points against bottom feeders. These are all meaningful games. And he's risen his team in a situation where LeBron is down a little bit, like he can make a move, and this is good for them because
LeBron is down.
Well, I mean, with the injury.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's just.
I just thought you meant his numbers.
No, I'm talking about his injury. Yeah. And then when you look at him and say, okay, so Harden is on pace to be the MVP again. He's playing at that level. He's deciding that, you know what? Even with Chris Paul, I'm not going to sit there and use that as an excuse or say, oh, woe is me, I need to form a super team, or I need to coax Anthony Davis to come play with me in order to win games. He's just saying, I'm going to go do whatever I have to do to go out there and win for my team, and that's what he's done. So right now, right here, and Durant, who is a great player, and we've seen what he's done, back-to-back MVPs in the finals and all that, but it's not a Lifetime Achievement Award. Right now, Durant's not playing at that level. LeBron's not playing at that level. He's on the sideline with a groin injury and drinking Chardonnay or red wine with fish or whatever he's doing.
Chardonnay's white.
You know, a Chardonnay, I said, or red, okay. Whatever, with fish. But whatever he's doing, and Harden is playing ball. He's balling out, and right now he's the best player in the league.
When you say right now, like this week? What do you mean now? Like he's the best player in the world. There's a title. It's a title you get.
No, I'm
best
talking about right now he's the best player
James,
in the NBA.
He's giving out the belt every month.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, that's what I get from
Next month, Anthony Davis. Right now.
Right now, who's the best player? He's the defending MVP of the league, and he hasn't dropped down. He's the best player.
So you want to take this, or you want me to beat him up?
I want you to say it with your chest.
I'm saying it with my chest.
Stick that chest out. Okay. The way James Harden does on those travel moves. Listen, unguardable. He is the most unguardable player in the NBA. I'll give you that. And he had a tremendous month of December, but he's not the best player in the NBA right now. I think it's a toss-up. I think LeBron getting a little pit stop refueling here at the end of the year. I think it's between LeBron and Steph Curry, who's shooting 45% on three-pointers. Has that ever been done before? It's somebody at this level, Steph Curry. I don't even need my notes, Rob.
I'm saying Durant just hit you up on Instagram.
Yeah, listen, I talk with Durant. I'm going to say this. It's the Draymond stuff is weighing heavily on him. The free agency stuff, as you know, that's weighing heavily on him. He doesn't like the questions every arena he goes. He's not having the year that I thought he would have. I thought he'd be an MVP candidate. But it is, without question, a toss-up between LeBron and Steph Curry. And if you put a gun to my head and say, Jason, who you got? I will say LeBron is the best player in the NBA right now. He has changed the culture back here in L.A. to a winning culture. He's playing fewer minutes and putting up just as many points as he did last year when he was dominant in Cleveland. Right now, LeBron, my guy, happy birthday, best player in the NBA.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, yes,
all
2 days ago.
Things right here.
He watches.
Look, as I said, Rob.
You got your pom-poms too? Go ahead.
It's a title. It's not best player in the world. You don't just hand that out every week. Oh, Giannis had the best, first 2 months of the season. He's now the best player in the world. You don't get that, especially when the previous best player in the world is not declining. It's one thing if LeBron or Durant or somebody was on the decline. It's another thing.
Who was MVP last year? Just help me out.
MVP isn't best player. I've been voting for 15 years for MVP. Or 20 years. That's not the best player.
Okay.
Was Steve Nash ever the best player in the world?
He was the MVP.
Was he ever the best player in the world?
Twice.
Was he even top 5? No.
The difference is I couldn't give you stats on Steve Nash that I just told you that people haven't done since Jordan and Kobe. I didn't say Tracy McGrady and Chris Morris or some...
Chris Morris?
How about that? Chris Morris from the
Nets.
Nets.
What a bull.
I pulled that one out of here.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving you those names. I'm giving you all-time greats. Harden is doing stuff that all-time greats haven't done in 30 years, Chris.
I don't want to.
You're
I don't want to take away from James Harden.
You are.
I actually think I voted for him to win MVP in 2015. He's been doing this for years. It's amped up in Mike D'Antoni's system, but James Harden is tremendous. I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm just saying, without the playoff resume, and with a playoff resume where you have struggled and faltered at times.
LeBron has struggled in the playoffs.
Yes, but
faltered.
he has. But that's why he's not the GOAT. We'll get to that later. Jordan didn't have those moments. LeBron has had them, and that you nitpick. All right? And with James Harden, I'm nitpicking. LeBron has had his playoff failures, but he's also had major playoff successes.
When he's had
Harden has
teams.
not had that. Harden has not had that yet. And that's why I'm saying, if you want to say, oh, right now, these last 7 days, James Harden has been the best player in the world, fine, be a prisoner of the moment.
No, it's not being a prisoner
It is
of the
being
moment.
a prisoner
This
of
is
the
the
moment.
problem.
You've been saying all year Kevin Durant's the best player in the world. Now, these last 5 games without
they
Harden,
not.
it's James Harden.
But the thing that you're like poo-pooing in this is that he was the MVP a year ago, and he's picked up where he's left off. So it wasn't like some one-year fluke where he was MVP.
No.
And now you're looking at it now where his team needs him more now than ever. That's when I look at a guy and say his team needs him, and he's responding. He's not just winning meaningless games and putting up meaningless numbers. These numbers will matter as we go forward, and these games in the Western Conference are huge.
But early in the season, when they were losing and his numbers weren't quite up to snuff, was he no longer an all-NBA type player? No. You give him the benefit of the doubt because you know he's going to deliver over the long run.
Right now, who's the best player in the league right now? She didn't ask me that a month ago.
See, and
right now.
Prisoner of
but
the moment.
Rob, what you're missing here is we know Harden is a great player offensively. Does he play any defense? Is he thriving in this Houston system, Mike D'Antoni's system, because of how they play? Remember, he was the MVP last year not only because he was great, but they won, 65 games? They were incredible last year. So they come down a peg this year. I didn't hear anybody talking James Harden in November, early December. Only recently did he start to go off. And he had a great month of December, finished with a flourish. But you can't put him above LeBron. You can't even put him above Steph Curry right now. You cannot.
Steph Curry's old news. I
Really?
told Chris.
Really?
Old what?
He's old news. We saw that act. That was great. We've moved on. It's now about
He's about
Harden,
to win his third
Durant.
straight championship. What you talking about?
No, but
Steph Curry is old news?
It's about Durant, though. You know that.
Steph's the most important player
You can
on that
say
team.
he's the most important, Chris, but when it comes down to it and it matters the most, Durant is the guy who's shown up against LeBron and has helped him win those championships.
Alex, hold on. Alex, there is a weird
part.
thing going on right now in the NBA where fans are like sick of Steph Curry because they're so dominant, and the media is sick of Steph Curry, and they want to break up. Hold on. They want to break up this Warriors dynasty, and there is all this pushback on Curry. All he's done is gotten better. He is the greatest shooter in NBA history. His season, if you look at the numbers, Russell Westbrook, who everybody loves, is shooting 24% on threes. Curry's shooting 45, Rob.
Well,
There's this weird pushback against Steph Curry right now. I don't get it. It's almost like people are jealous of Steph Curry. And they're really salty because a 6'3" tiny skinny kid has taken over the NBA and dominated.
He took over the NBA about 5 years ago, and you must admit.
Has he given it up?
Has he given it up?
Yes, he's not that same player. He can't even win the finals MVP.
Jeez.
It's always somebody else. What MVP has he won recently?
He should have won the first one. He should have won it over Andre Iguodala. Before he got hurt, he was it was early, but he was the front runner for MVP. He was playing tremendous basketball.
And then what happened? And then all of a sudden, all I'm saying
is... And then they struggled with Durant leading
Durant took that team and
they went 7-7.
Durant took that team from Curry and his lunch money. Kevin Durant is what
he
stirs
did not
the
take
drink.
that. Oh, stop it.
Durant
is great. Durant is phenomenal.
See, he's trying to put them against each other. He's trying to pit them to split it up.
Durant is an overall better player. But the guy the system is built around, the guy that makes it go, the guy that has the most impact is unquestionably Steph Curry.
I'm telling you, if Kevin Durant
this will be remembered in Golden State as the Steph Curry
Golden State
era.
wouldn't have won those 2 championships.
What about the 73 regular season wins? What about the first title? That stuff's just irrelevant. They didn't have Durant for those.
No, I know. But they won a championship, and they also had one of the biggest chokes in the history of the NBA, and that was with Steph Curry.
And they had the
leader.
greatest regular season in NBA history.
Biggest chokes?
And that was one of the biggest chokes ever.
Who had one of the biggest chokes a few weeks earlier? Durant in Oklahoma City.
Speaking of chokes, your guy, James Harden, where
3-1.
was he in Game 7 against the Warriors last year? At home, up 11 at halftime in Game 7. And what did he do? He gagged. James Harden choked.
You're right.
That's
And you know what?
27 missed threes in a row.
He made the mistake of trying to imitate LeBron against Dallas in the finals during that. So that's why he won so poorly.
My point, though, Rob, is you just said it. Best player in the world does not get determined in the regular season. MVP does, but player of the months do. Best player in the world is a combination of the regular season and most importantly,
it's not a lifetime achievement award.
But LeBron, and to your point, Durant, they haven't dropped off. I mean, Durant's having some struggles, but he still clearly hasn't dropped off. They're still at the top of their games or close. And defensively, you asked about it. James Harden's ranked 237th
He's not worried about that. That's not his game.
LeBron,
it's
not LeBron's game anymore either, but he's still ranked 59th in defensive real plus minus.
Oh, there you go.
59th. Oh, yeah. That's something
You
to write
know,
home.
Rob,
Rob,
it
just
matters
take the loss and just
what you
I'm not taking the loss.
If James Harden leads the Houston Rockets to the NBA Finals, maybe not even the championship, but to the finals, then we can have a discussion about him being the best player
He might
in the
not
world.
get out of the second round, Rob.
But you got to do it in the playoffs.
Now, when he knocks out LeBron in the first round, when Houston
no
knocks
way.
him out in the first round, then we'll talk. And you'll remember that.
Lonzo Ball will lock him up. Oh, I can't wait for that series.
Now you're
Lakers
saying-
in 5.
That's like me
We are
using Matt
switching
Stafford, so
gears,
you need to
guys.
stop.